We are News New Mexico. It's Tuesday, September 27th, 2011. Jim Spence is here, and I'm Michael Swickard. Our website, newsnm.com. Remember, if you have small kids, you should read to them 20 minutes every day. Our quote for the hour, cross-country skiing is great if you live in a small enough country. How about that? We have Marita Noon. She's with us. I just, we do a little history, Marita. In 1722, Samuel Adams was born. He is actually the revolutionary leader that probably the real reason we had our ability to leave the United Kingdom. If you had to pick one person, Samuel Adams would be that person. 1959, 5,000 people died on the main Japanese island of Honshu in Japan as a result of a typhoon. I was about 30 miles from Tokyo and live in a little village called Fusanaka, and I do remember it because we lost power for about 4 days. 2010, George Blanda died. He was an American football player who was the person who played the most because he was 48 when he finally stopped playing. So that's our history. That's our quote. Now we have Marita Noon. Energy makes America great, right?
Good morning, boys. Yes, energy does make America great. That's why you remember that you lost power.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, when you lose power, you have a column up on townhall.com.
And I assume News New Mexico.
Yes, it's up there.
It's on us. Obama's jobs plain silly, or are they sinister? Talk a little bit about your thinking as you wrote this.
Well, one thing that everybody's has been talking about Obama's jobs plan and whether it can get support and so forth. But I always try to, in my columns, I try to find something that really nobody much is talking about, something that's kind of a hidden element, maybe to a common news story, maybe it's just something that no one's talking about, but they should be talking about, and of course it relates to energy. And the thing that was really surprising to me as I looked into his jobs plan is to look at the hidden taxes that are in there. I mean, they're not really all that hidden. He made it clear that he intends to raise taxes, and he's made that clear throughout his campaign for president and throughout his presidency. Every time he has an opportunity to put a new plan of any sort out there, he's constantly trying to raise taxes. But the interesting thing to me, of course, because of course I look at energy issues, was that of the 14 major tax increases that are in his plan, more than 70% of those tax increases target specifically the oil and gas industry. And if you only listen to his side of the argument, which is, they're making a lot of money, and he can quote a nice big number.
Wait a second. They're making a lot of money? That sounds like he's a socialist.
Well, you know what? You can go there, definitely. I did not say that word in my article, but you definitely can go there. It's interesting because townhall.com is a format where there's a lot of comment. It's been very interesting to me since I've been writing for them since early July, that the number of comments that are on the column are amazing, and I read them. It's very interesting to see what people say, and so I try to stay away from kind of those trigger words such as he's a socialist, and because it brings out, of course, the attack dogs from the other side. I try to just present the data there, and as I close the article, I ask, are his plans just plain silly, or are they sinister? And allow the reader to draw their own conclusion, but as they look at the facts.
So you talk a little bit in here about just sort of some of the contradictions. A few years ago, bulimia and anorexia were kind of the catch things that we should all be afraid of.
You've been anxious to talk Barbie.
Yeah, I want to talk Barbie because I don't know. you're kind of a doll. Let's talk
Barbie. Hey.
Oh, you're very flattering. I'll choose to be flattered versus offended.
So talk about the Barbie and Cabbage Patch Kid analogy in this column.
Well, I mean, it's a silly analogy, admittedly, and it was intended to be silly. But we've got the First Lady, Michelle Obama, is her cause is obesity. Well, a decade or so ago, we heard a lot about bulimia and anorexia, and that teenage girls, in particular young ladies, were struggling with this eating disorder. And around that time, Barbie, the doll, was highly criticized because she gave these girls an unrealistic impression of what they were supposed to look like. And as a result, they were trying to, not eat enough or throw up what they were eating so that they could have this Barbie doll-like figure. And so my premise is that just because something has fallen out of political favor, meaning oil and gas, because Obama doesn't like it, doesn't mean that we should tax it more heavily. Well, Barbie dolls, supposedly, added to girls' poor image of themselves. So then along came Cabbage Patch dolls. I mean, they'd been around for a long time, but Mattel bought them. They had a resurgence in popularity. And now we have an obesity problem. And so Michelle Obama's cause is obesity. So my silly premise is that taxing something just because it has fallen out of favor or just because the president doesn't like it makes as much sense as taxing now Cabbage Patch dolls because, well, they're making children fat, or Barbie dolls because they were adding to a eating disorder. So it's a silly analogy, but that's how silly taxing the oil and gas industry just because we don't like it is.
For 14 minutes past the hour, we're talking with Marita Noon. Energy Makes America Great. I noticed you talked about the $7 billion a year spent in ethanol subsidies. I have one of the vehicles I have is a 98 Grand Marquis that does not like ethanol. And I worked very hard for many years to stay away from ethanol. Now it is mostly parked because it's the only gas you can get. Somehow the computer and the carburetor hate ethanol, and it doesn't run real good anymore. Why are we using the ethanol, for God's sake?
That's a very good question. Why are we using ethanol? Well, it's one of those things that came about when we were basing energy policy on this country really on lies. And we have this whole renewable energy craze that we have been on and spending more money on things such as, we go back to Solyndra, it all came about based on two lies, and I think we talked about this when I was in studio with you last week, but those two lies, and you can probably tell in the background we're not in the studio because I've got a visiting dog that's visiting my dog. Sorry about that. I didn't know
Rob's got a dog.
My dog doesn't make.
Rob has the official dog, Willow, that barks on the air.
On cue, actually.
Oh, well, this is a visiting dog. Cause see, my dog, my boy dog, my Schnauzer, he's now a proven stud, so he's got a new girlfriend visiting at the moment.
I don't want to know.
Marita, speaking
Sorry about that little tangent there, but let me just mention real quick the two lies that have precipitated the renewable energy craze, of which ethanol came out of as well. And one of those is that we have an energy shortage in this country. And I heard someone on one of the stock shows that I watch on Saturday morning this weekend was talking about, well, we have an energy shortage and we've got to do something. And I thought, well, how crazy is this that we've got this, that we've got this energy shortage noise going out there, that we have a massive misinformation campaign because we have no energy shortage. We don't need to be producing ethanol for anything. But that was where it came from the 70s. Oh, we've got to get off of foreign oil, which we do. But what we have to do is access our American resources.
You know, speaking of proven studs, Marita, I want to play an audio clip of the Vice President of the United States explaining why we needed to give $535 million to Solyndra.
To make sure that as we create these jobs, we create jobs of the future, like the ones you're creating. Jobs you can raise a family on. Green jobs. Jobs that will serve as a foundation for a stronger American economy. Which is why it's so important we invest in Solyndra. And I'm really happy, along with the Secretary, to announce today that we've closed a $535 million loan guarantee for Solyndra. More than $500 million.
And so the leadership of the United States right now, on record, pointing the direction of the future for America to throw money at companies on the verge of bankruptcy. Marita, you know what? We're coming up on a break. We want you to ponder that.
All right.
We're going to get back. Boy, you got the dog settled down, though. So
yeah, it's amazing what a wrapping paper tube will do.
Yeah, all right. So,
Are you going to bark all day, little doggy? Or are you going to bite?
Right, all right. Marita Noon, energy makes America great. For Marita, we did the doggy one. Where did that come from? Where's that clip from?
That's your clip.
No, that's yours.
That's your clip.
All right, Marita, that's your clip. Where did that come from?
I have no idea, but it made me laugh.
That was Bill Murray from something, but that was one of your old clips from the original
mine.
archive. I did not gather that clip.
Not mine. So, Marita, now, as far as energy makes America great, one of the problems we have is we have people who just say, nuh-uh, and they just say no. How do you deal with the people who, when you tell them a fact of life about energy, just go, no, that isn't true? How do you deal with that?
Well, can I go back for a moment? Because before the break, you played a clip from Joe Biden, and you told me to think about it.
Okay, think about Joe Biden. Try not to think about him.
But when you led into that clip, you led into it with the phrase, talking about a proven stud. And I just have this really unattractive picture in my mind that's been percolating during the break.
Yeah.
But I do want to comment on Joe Biden's comment that you played before the break about his Solyndra. Every time I hear them play that clip on the news about President Obama or Vice President Biden talking about that Solyndra is the future of the jobs in America, I think, they had no idea how prophetic they were being at that time. Because just like what happened with Solyndra, 1,100 people lost their jobs based on their pushing through stuff that is not ready, that's not reasonable, that's not economic, and that isn't ready. And if we continue down the path we're on, a whole lot more people are going to continue to lose their jobs because this administration is trying to push things that don't work and punish the things that do work.
Marita, this is a short segment, but the reason why we keep playing this clip is because it is critical for New Mexico listeners who are listening right now to understand that what is happening with policy right now is their tax dollars are being diverted away from oil and gas that pays the bills in this state towards these boneheaded projects that are going bankrupt, and there has never been a more clear choice. I mean, you got this great mystery about the absence of job creation. Well, the president and the vice president pointed to these sorts of investments and said, this is the future. Well, their vision of the future has blown up right before all of our very eyes. Is that not right?
That is absolutely accurate, and it's a good thing. That's why I wanted to point that out, is that as long as we continue down the road with their plan, that's the direction we're going to go. We're going to lose more jobs and lose more jobs.
You have a website, Energy Makes America Great. What do you have on that website?
Oh, well, I have podcasts of our previous interviews. I just put last week's up yesterday, and I have videos and, of course, links to energy-related articles of the day, and a variety of other interesting items that are there as well. And I discovered since I was with you last week that I feel like a movie star. The Center for Biological Diversity has put videos of me on their website.
All right.
Wow, we're going to have to go check those out.
You are someone. Marita Noon. She has Energy Makes America Great. Is that .com, .net?
.org.
.org. Okay, Energy Makes America Great. Thank you so much for what you do, Marita Noon.
Always great to talk with you. Thank you.
Always great to hear from her. I'm glad she's now a movie star.
I just want to be a proven stud.